Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I'm FPL D Unit and today I'm here with my Game Week 20 early preview, early doors, and a look ahead to what we can probably get excited about for the second half of the Premier League season in terms of FPL. So without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new and you're finding me for the first time, and let's see out 2024 with an absolute bang. All right, so on to the early doors for Game Week 20 now. There has been, unfortunately, it has not been my best week for the season. In fact, I would actually put it down to one of my worst weeks of the season, and purely because of the fact I just didn't follow my usual ideas about how I make transfers. Now, the whole João Pedro out has absolutely killed me this week. Originally, I was going to get rid of him for Chris Wood, and I would have got 12 points, and I would have been very happy man. Or I was just going to leave it and roll the transfer because I wanted to keep Bruno. But instead, I sat there and I looked at the Cunha and how many points he was killing me the last 3 weeks and thought, I'm going to go there because Tottenham don't have any centre-backs. And it's safe to say that that decision did not work. It went horribly. Cunha only lasted 45 minutes. He's now been banned as well to top things off, and he is automatically straight back out of my team. And I've actually done what I should have done in Game Week 19. And I brought in Chris, the Woody Woodpecker, who I'm very excited to have back in my team. I started the season with him, said goodbye around Game Week 9, Game Week 10. And now I'm welcoming him back with open arms, hoping that he continues to deliver for me. Now, the benching headache for me has also been really annoying. So when I was on Wildcard, I bought in 5 defenders that I could mix and match and rotate every week. The only problem is that I keep on getting the benchings wrong. So this week, I've had Hall for the second time in 4 weeks, stranded on my bench with a massive haul of points. This time he got 12. The last time it was even worse. He got 15. That's 27 points in the last 4 weeks I've left on the bench when I've had a defender on that's got me 0. So the last time it was 8 Nori that were played and got 0 points because he got a yellow card or conceded 4 goals, whatever it was. This time it's Colwill. Gets a yellow card, concedes 2 goals, 0 points. Highly, highly frustrating. And I think there's one lesson to be learned here. Back in the team that's in the better form. And I think the Newcastle's actually probably close to the form team outside of Liverpool in the Premier League. And I think from that fact, and the fact that Hall is just playing so well, keeps putting delicious balls in, he could easily have had another assist last night as well. He looks absolutely so good from that left back's position. I just can't see him losing his place. Doesn't matter when all the other players come back fit. He just looks so good. It's kind of scary. The captaincy call, again, by the way, if you're wondering what's going on in my voice, it is because I was at the football yesterday, basically bollocking the fact that Man United looked like absolute crap. So we won't even get into that. But I'm now regretting bringing in Ahmad instead of, I'm not sure, Morgan Rogers back in the day. But it is one of those things. We'll get into that slightly in a little bit. Morgan Rogers, FYI, has actually been suspended. He did hold for the second week in a row, but he also picked up his 5th yellow card, which means, unfortunately, he will be missing the Leicester game this weekend, which is highly frustrating for Morgan Rogers owners. So there are a number of bans that are going to be there in Game Week 20. He's one of them. So is Cunha. And there's probably a few others in there as well. So the captaincy call, though, was not going on Palmer. Now, the Palmer fixture actually looked really good against Ipswich. The only problem is that Maresca got a little bit ahead of himself. Thought the Ipswich are going to be just as easy as Southampton, and they turned out that they weren't. And I dare say we're not going to see that kind of rotation again, because if he hasn't learned his lesson this time, then he's just done. And the fact that he brought on Jackson before the 60th minute mark tells you that he got it wrong. And it doesn't send a good message. Those players do not need to be being rested when they're not playing every 4 days. Like, Chelsea's squad is that big. They don't need to worry about rotating their players. None of those players should be tired, because they literally had the midweeks off for most of the season. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Salah just continued to show, though, that he is the captaincy option at the moment. Another 16 points, a goal, 2 assists against a pathetic West Ham, it has to be said. There was holes in all this game for all the Liverpool players. Trent Alexander-Arnold finally delivered on his price tag, gone up to 7.2 because of it. Massive 15 points. I don't think we're going to be seeing that every week. We could potentially see something similar against Manchester United because Man United are god awful, and I actually think we're in a relegation fight, and it's not pretty. Let's put it that way. And Mo Salah, one of his favourite teams, is playing Manchester United, so you don't even think about moving the captaincy off him this week because he's 100% going to score. I'm definitely backing him as my captain, even though I'm a Man United fan. It's just, yeah. It is what it is. Now, what do you do in the short amount of time before we have the next deadline, or do we roll or twist on players that are underperforming? So, obviously, the fixtures are coming quick and fast, very quickly. And, it's New Year's today. It's New Year's Day tomorrow. By the time those 2 days are finished and people have finally woken up, the next deadline is going to be here because it's going to be Friday, and then I think the football starts on Saturday. I have to double check that, but I'm pretty confident I am correct with that. Now, the teams that you do want to be looking at, Newcastle, Forest, Fulham, they are looking absolutely fantastic from an FPL perspective. Crystal Palace, after this week when they've got the Chelsea game out of the way, ditto. I think you've got to target them for the next few fixtures, like Nottingham Forest, second in the Premier League. Who would have thought that? Second in the Premier League. Meanwhile, Man United 14th. It just says it all. So what are my plans this week? I've got one free transfer, the Man United and Cunha problem. What do I do from here? What's the correct play? Do I bring in the wood? Let's have a look. So without further ado, we are going to jump over here and we're going to look at my live rank. Obviously, the Arsenal game's still to go. And it's not pretty. Like, it's the worst red arrow I've had in quite a lot of time. So let's just get into it. So down to 42,287, which is, it's not horrible, but it's not fantastic either. It is a significant down arrow, minus 19,000 places this week. But that is purely based on the decision to bring in Cunha, which should have left João Pedro there, would have had 7 points extra, and the fact that Lewis Hall is sitting there on 12 points on the bench with that assist, the 3 bonus, and I've got Colwell on instead. I mean, even if I just swap Colwell around, and I did think about playing Hall because I thought, Man United probably won't score. But I also thought that he wouldn't do that much. I didn't think they'd score that many goals. It was just a dumb decision. I should have played Hall. They had the easier fixture in terms of, because Chelsea had just been conceding stupid goals as it is, even against the crap teams. So I just got it wrong with that one. So unfortunately, that's where it is. Now, if we go over to my actual team, we can see there what I'm looking ahead for this week. So I've obviously made my transfer already. I've got 0.6 in the budget now because of the fact that I have transferred out Cunha for Chris Wood. Now, Cunha, apparently, from what I've read, has only been banned for one game. So it's only one game, but we'll have a look at his fixtures in a minute. But I just really like the Chris Wood run from here. Obviously, back in form. He'd been 3 weeks since he played Man United. And, when Nottingham Forest score, you just generally expect to see Chris Wood's name in the frame for having got the goals. And look, coming up, it's actually a pretty good run of 6 weeks for Chris Wood. So we've got Wolves away straight up, Liverpool at home, probably be benching him in that game. Southampton at home, looks amazing. Bournemouth away, fine. Brighton at home, fine. Fulham away, pretty fine as well. The next 3 games after that aren't as pretty. But he's shown this year that he's just pretty consistent. Keeps bringing out like the 1 goal, 9 points. Like, there's not much not to like there. Now, in terms of defenders, Aina obviously still on 89, continues another clean sheet for Forest. But the one that I really like is Milenkovic. Now, he's 4.7. He's the exact same price as Munoz. Now, Munoz, when we have a look at his output, it's actually a pretty good run. Like, obviously, I've just covered the Forest run. If we just bring in Munoz here and have a quick look, I don't mind him. I actually thought that Southampton would score this week, so I was pretty happy I didn't bring him in this week. But he had a massive chance. He should have scored. 0.51 expected goals, 0.09 expected assists. It was a disappointing outcome in terms of that. But from game week 21 onwards, I really think that I want him in the team. And I think 4.7, I'll be very happy to bring him in. Now, I'm not sure why his price is still locked because he's been transferred in by so many people. But he hasn't gone up in price yet. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure why it has been locked. But yeah, I'm quite excited for what that run of fixtures looks like. From an attacking perspective, it's definitely someone I want to bring in game week 21. Now, the thing is, it's going to be probably Colwill that leaves the team, and it'll probably be Munoz that comes in. Now, I can afford to do that this week and just take a -4. The other thing, though, is I've got a couple other decisions I want to make, and I might take a double -4 to make these happen. But other players I really like, I've just touched on the Crystal Palace run there. Another player I really like is Eze. Now, Eze's run obviously scored, and I did say I felt like he was the better pick between him and Sarr last week. I did definitely said that. Again, this is another move for game week 21. Now, I'm not interested in moving before now. I don't think his price is going to rise. With Chelsea up next, I don't think everyone's going to be getting too excited about that. But realistically, the Phil Foden play was mainly for these 3 weeks. And he's obviously returned. He's had 8 points. In reality, if I just gone Luis Diaz, I would have got 9 points from one game and missed out on the other. But yeah, it's like one of them ones. West Ham at home this week is definitely a game I want him for. Ideally, I'd like to keep him for the next 2 as well. But I am concerned that Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to keep on scoring points as well. So if we have a quick look at Alexander-Arnold, he is owned by 26 of the comp, and like that 15 points really hurt the rank. Even though I had Alisson covering the clean sheet, I'm not too concerned. I'm just concerned for Man United's game. Like Man United are crap. Like I can't see us scoring, which means that Trent's already going to have a locked in for a clean sheet. We concede so many balls off corners and off crosses that makes you think that Trent's definitely going to get an attacking return against Man United, which makes me almost think that maybe I need to bring him in this week. And this one here, I think realistically, he would come in for Kirkes. Now, I'd need to find then 2.3 mil. So either, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. It's either Bruno Fernandes out for a 6 million rated below midfielder, or it's Foden out for a 6.8 million rated midfielder. Now, as you can see here, Eze, I can then afford to get Eze. Obviously, I'm not going to do this week because that's -12 points. I'm not willing to take that much of a hit. But that's pretty much where I want my team to go. I'm also concerned about Ahmad. And in reality, he's 5.3. He would actually become Morgan Rogers after he comes back from suspension. Now, I'm hoping that Rogers might go down in price this week because people are going like, oh, he's suspended, I'm going to move him on. Can only hope that that is the case. You can see there he's red flagged. But he also has a really good run of fixtures. Now, he's back-to-back 14 to 11. So it's massive returns in 2 of the last 3 weeks. Then he's got Leicester at home, which he's missing. Everton away, it's going to be much harder because Everton do defend quite well. Arsenal away is going to be harder as well. But from game weeks 23 to 25, I'd like to have Morgan Rogers back in the team. And that would probably be for Ahmad. So moving forward, that's probably what I would like to try and get to. As you can see there, it is quite dependent on price rises. As you can see, 0 money would be left back in the bank there. And that's using up 4 transfers. Obviously, I've made the Crystal one already this week, so that's definitely in the team. But moving forward, that's, I think, what I want to go towards. Obviously, game week 24, 25, I am aware that Liverpool are going to have the double game week. And for that game, I would like 3 players. And I think Trent, Salah, and Alisson are the 3 that I want. Yes, you could look at the other attackers, but the problem is with Liverpool, there's too much rotation. Outside of Cody Gakpo, who I did look instead of Chris Wood, because I could still afford that before I bought in Chris Wood. That is definitely something I looked at. Nicholas Jackson, he probably needs to start returning. He did drop in price already this week, which means my selling price to him is 8 mil. But I just think that moving forward, Chelsea's run is still pretty good from an attacking perspective. Palace away, Bournemouth at home, Wolves at home, Man City away, West Ham at home, Brighton away, Aston Villa away, Southampton at home, Leicester at home. Up until game week 29, it still looks pretty good on paper. So I'm not overly concerned about what that's going to do. So I'm just hoping that I get that right. Other players that I'm concerned about, so Bruno Fernandes having the double up in the Manchester United team is obviously concerning. Like this week is not good. Like I'm benching Ahmad this week only because of the fact that I think Bruno, if we win a penalty, he's going to take it and he'll score it. That's the only reason why I'm playing Bruno this week. Like I was looking at my team potentially. So if we go, just get out of there. That's my plans, obviously, where I would like to go moving forward. But if I go to pick team for game week 20 early on, so it's Kirkes away at Everton, Robinson at home to Ipswich, Timber away at Brighton. But if I look at the other defenders, I've got Hall sat on the bench again, which doesn't feel good. But I feel like Tottenham are more likely to score against Newcastle than what Man United were. But maybe I'm getting this wrong, and maybe Hall should actually be starting on the field. Well, I am concerned about that. And like there is such good run of form, Newcastle. But I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I've got this wrong. Maybe Hall probably needs to be on the field. I keep on backing against him and he keeps on delivering. But like that's what the team's looking like early on. I don't mind it. Like there is a lot of away fixtures in there, but I feel like it's with players that are pretty good. And I'm still excited by Phil Foden. Like I feel like there's going to be a week where he just pops off. And I'm hoping that this is the week. Like I really need it to be this is the week. So look, I'm going to be sitting there talking a bit about strategy moving into the second half of the season. Obviously, I do intend on playing my triple captain on Mo Salah in the double game week that is coming up. I'll then hopefully be looking to dodge most of the blank game week 29, which is looking like we might see Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal assets all not being available, which means then I would look to start moving some of them on. So in this case, I'd probably start moving Jackson to like Solanke. I'd probably keep Palmer and Salah because of the fact that I've got so much money invested in them. Whereas if I bring like Alisson, I've got no money. Like I bought him for 5.4, he's still 5.4. If I buy Trent for 7.2, he's going to literally be sold for 7.2. Not too concerned about that. I've been good at like keeping my team value across the season. I'm not so sure I want to be dead ending players in that game week and then bringing them back in when I wildcard them 30 or 31. I'm still unsure whether I want to play the assistant manager chip in the first double game week, which will be 32, 33, or in the second one, which would be game week 36. But free hits definitely in play for game week 34. That's when I'll be looking to play it because that's when we're most likely to see the most blanks for Premier League teams because of the FA Cup semi-final. So look, that's my preview for game week 20. As I said, I'm on 61 points at the moment. It's not the best. It's not the worst. A shout out though to the leagues, just quickly into the league here. Amat, who is just on one. The last 3 weeks, this man has been on fire. He's got 55,134 game week rank. Last week he had 76, which was a big score. The week before, 119. He is having a massive 3-week tear, opening up a good lead at the top of the table. Obviously, he was unlucky by Sanchez and the fact he didn't have Fabianski either. But like, look at his defense. He just got it right. Like he keeps on getting these calls right that I keep on getting the other way around. So he started Hall this week. He does have the double Fulham defense, which is going to look very nice from next week onwards. But yeah, shout out to him. He is currently leading the way, which is fantastic. Remember, if you want to join the league, the code is LDV6FK. The link is in the description. And yeah, he's now opened up almost a 100-point lead on me, which is insane. And he's literally done that in 3 weeks. Absolutely crazy. Still in second there. But yeah, shout out to him. Make sure you press like on the button, subscribe if you're new, and I will join you later in the week for differentials, wildcard draft, transfer tips, and then team selection. Thanks for joining. Have a good start to the new year in 2025. Hopefully fantasy treats you well. Thanks for watching. That's been the D Unit.